Hi guys, welcome to another Coffee with Pegasus. Hope everybody's doing well. Today's conversation is on regression. What is it? How is it done? And why do we need it? Well, what it is, a regression is a scheduled or purposely formed meditation to look back into your past. A regression can be done in multiple different ways. It can be done sitting at home, watching TV, giving your forward mind something to hang on to while you go into an eyes open, spontaneous meditation. And you just allow yourself to start going back in your memories. And it usually starts minute by minute, and then you step back day by day, week by week, month by month, and so on. The purpose of the regression is to be able to look into your past and deal with things that you've had trouble dealing with. The key to a regression versus a flashback, in a flashback you actually relive the situation. Your feelings, emotions, your physiological architecture, if you will, runs into the problems of reliving the event in a flashback. With a regression, you're in control. You're seeing the events from the outside looking in. Now you need to be able to do this for multiple reasons. One, those of you that were abused in one way, shape, form, or fashion, you need to be able to look at it from the outside and see what happened so that you can put closure to it and know that there was really nothing you could do to fend it off. Or if there was something you could do at the time, perhaps your mind didn't think about it. Fight or flight kicks in and really causes a lot of issues, most especially in memories. Also, when you're doing a regression, you want to remember perception. Perception is three sides of each coin. Truth, your perception, and then someone else's perception of what may have happened in a particular event. So remember, in a regression, you're looking at your perception of the event, and that's what needs to be dealt with. Very little has to do with the actual fact of the actual event. Now, this being said, how do I do a regression? Well, if I'm doing a planned meditative regression on myself, I like to get into some place very quiet. The only noise I like is maybe the hum of an electric motor of a fan, keeping the air circulating so my body is comfortable. They don't recommend that you use a heater if it's cold, because if the heater pulls all of the moisture out of the room, you can't breathe, and that's going to cause discomfort. But follow your meditative techniques, except with this one, you're not going to attempt to do an astral. You're not going to attempt to do an OBE. What you're going to do is you're going to set your mind to remember the events just a few moments ago. Picture yourself walking through the house, or picture yourself getting ready for your meditation. Picture yourself doing whatever it is you do to get ready for your particular meditative technique. And as you feel yourself drifting, watch and look at what happened that morning, going through your morning routine. See yourself and the perception of your reality going through your morning routine. Don't worry about fact, fiction, or fantasy. Let your mind see these events the way your mind perceives them to have happened. Then go back to yesterday. If you can do that without any problem, go back to the day before. And as we start stepping ourselves back, your mind's going to drift to events and times and places that has had the most impact on you. You may not be able to just remember petting the family pet or playing ball or what have you. What you're interested in is these events that have had devastating effects on you throughout your life that may cause you to become self-destructive, over-analytical, over-OCD'd, or, in some cases, abusive yourself in one way, shape, form, or fashion. If you're dealing with the battered wife syndrome or battered husband syndrome, this situation and being able to regress can sometimes help you find where that comes from. Now, there is a meditative form of regression that I'm not going to do a blog on because I don't want to attempt to verbally, if you will, lead someone through a regression without being there with them. Regressions can at times, if it's being led through a meditative regression, can at times get physical and become dangerous. Because if a person is trying to fight someone off, if you do not know how to disconnect the physical body from the emotional body, or the inner self, if you will, then you can put yourself or them in danger. When I was first starting out, I had done a couple of regressions before I learned how to disassociate the physical and the emotional body. I got clocked in the jaw a couple of times and smacked upside the face, and it really just wasn't pretty. So don't just decide off of the top of your head you need to do a regression. Talk to someone that you trust that knows how to lead you through a regression. Now, past life regressions are done exactly the same way, except it's very hard to do a past life regression until you have handled and dealt with and emotionally put in its place this lifetime. Almost everyone that I've ever regressed, and that's been many, gets stuck in this lifetime until they deal with the repression, if you will, of this particular lifetime. So take it one step at a time. So many people want to just jump in and see where or who they were in another lifetime. Well, that's very hard to do. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you don't. And don't confuse dreams with regressionary fact. If you want to know how to tell that difference, drop me an email or drop me a call, and I'll give you a call at some point and we can chat about it. But as far as the regression itself, they're very useful. Do as many of them per week as you need to. I don't recommend that you only do one a day. Some of them can be very taxing, and some of them very tiring. Taxing, tiring, somewhat the same thing. So there you go. But when you're doing your regressions, remember, take it one step at a time. It's like everything else that has to do with psychology. It cannot all be done in one day, in one session, and in one sitting. And it's like I always told my clients, you didn't get broke in one day. You're not going to get mended in one day. Enjoy your regressions. As always, leave your comments in the area below. If you have any good ideas for blogs that you might want me to do, drop me an email.